Hey friend, I'm Sharon Motley with ICCF.US International Covenant Connections Fellowship. For the next few moments, I want to put a deposit on the inside of you. Family versus ministry. Stay tuned. Well, friend, thank you for joining us once again. I'm Sharon Motley with International Covenant Connections Fellowship. We are here to bring ministers together, pastors and leaders, and to help you grow and develop into the things of God for your church. My husband and I have been pastoring over 33 years, in ministry over 38 years, doing the work of the Lord, and we're here to help you. We're not perfect. We don't know everything, but we feel like we have the nuggets that you need that will help you succeed. My husband and I minister to a lot of ministers, those that are young, starting in ministry, those that have been established, how to grow your church, how to do things right, wrong, how to get it right, amen, and get in the right direction. And today I want to talk to you just a few minutes about family versus ministry. Family versus ministry. You know, it's so easy as a pastor, as a leader, to get caught up in the ministry so strong and so focused that you forget about your family. So even as a mother today, even of 4 children, and even as a wife of a pastor, I just want to help you a few minutes, because if you don't balance your life appropriately, you can lose your children. And I don't want that to happen. Many years ago, when we first started, we started with 5 people in our living room. We moved to a small church. We had 12 by the time we started there. Within 2 years, God had blessed us. We outgrew that small building. We purchased a larger building. And I just say that to say, the earlier years, I was still working a job. I had a baby, and I was trying to juggle life. And for many years, my oldest son suffered the brunt of being pushed aside or ministry coming first. And so I learned a lot of things through the school of hard knocks, and I realized that my family had to come before my church. Now, my family doesn't come before God, but it comes before church. So I love God first. I love my husband second. I love my family, my children third, and then I love my church family fourth. And if you're constantly putting church projects and church activities and church meetings before your family, they will notice it. And guys, that might not be, I might be talking to a leader right now, and you might be a leader in your community, and you may serve on boards, or you may be a doctor that works a lot, or a lawyer that pulls a lot of overtime. If you constantly put work before your children are going to suffer, and in the end, you'll suffer for it. So I just want to encourage you today, take a step back, think for a moment. Don't always be gone. Sometimes that's difficult, but it's not fair for your wife to raise your children and you're not there, or vice versa. And so take a step back for a minute. Ask God, what's the plan and purpose you have for me? I don't want to lose my family and win the whole world. What good would that do? Amen. What kind of testimony would that be? So there are things like, my children were big in sports. We had games, sometimes 3 and 4 nights a week. We had practice. When my children played travel ball, we traveled a lot on weekends. Now, I did make one rule with my kids. I said, if we have travel ball, I can't go on Sundays. You do know that. You understand that. But you have to know that if you're going to play travel ball. So we made that agreement up front. We didn't wait and say we couldn't go. We made sure they knew, if you chose to play this and they have an out-of-town game, I won't be there. And so I think it was important that we communicated that. But guys, we were at every game, tired, been at the church all day working, 10,000 meetings, had to go to a meeting after the ball game, but we were at those ball games. We made sure that our children knew that we were there. Now, my children today are not perfect, but they all love God and they're all serving in the ministry. I just want to encourage you right now, make sure that you're spending time with them at home. If you have a basketball goal, go outside and shoot basketball. If they like to jog, go jogging with them. Maybe they like to go shopping with them. Do not neglect your children for the sake of the ministry. You don't want like the end results. There's a lot of national preachers, even in my day and in my time, that regretted pushing their children aside. Another thing I want to encourage you, don't let your church members dictate to your children. I had a girl come up to me one time and poke her finger in my chest and told me what I should and should not do with my child. I kindly told her, I said, well, first of all, you're not their mother. Second, and if God tells me to do that, I'll do it. And third, I appreciate your prayers. But fourth, you're not going to tell me what to do. And so ultimately, she just kept on and on and on. And I finally had to say, look, you're going to have to leave this alone, or you're going to have to leave the church. That wasn't a comfortable conversation, and she chose to leave the church. But I wasn't going to let her dictate to my children how they were supposed to or not supposed to live. So you've got to protect your children. I never let people call my children PK kids, pastor's kids. My kids were kids, and I had boys, and my boys are full-blown boys. They're not little meek, timid, sit on the bench and be quiet boys. They were up in your face. They were running, ramping, rolling. And so my boys were boys. And so I always made sure I protected my children. They're just like any other children. They like to roll in the mud. They like to play, but but when it comes time, they're respectful. One of the things that I made sure I taught my children, always respect people, hold the door open for people, always say thank you and no thank you. And one of the things people have always told me is your children are so respectful. And so, they may have their moments at home, but out in public and to other people, I made sure that they respected the house of God. They respected other people. So first things first, get things in order, get things in line. Amen. Don't let it come. And I'll just take a few minutes and say this. Don't let the ministry come between you and your spouse. Make sure you have spouse time. Make sure you have dates. Make sure you do things together. That's another broadcast for another time. But today I wanted to talk about your children. I wanted to talk about protecting them and doing the work of the ministry. I love you today. We're here to give you tidbits to have a healthy marriage, a healthy family, a healthy church, and a healthy you. I love you today. I'm Sharon Motley with ICCF.us. Join us for telecast or video snippets just like this that you can learn and grow. I love you. God bless you. I'll see you next time.